Hello and welcome, Green and Emerald, to English today, where we're planning our legends of Theseus and the Minotaur. We're going to get really down to it today, and we're going to do a long story mountain. We did one last week for Hercules that went up and down, so you've got the beginning, the middle and the end, and today we're going to do this very similar, but instead of having it that sort of way, we're going to do a really long one. Okay, and to get started, we're going to do our punctuation. You can, if you're in class, you can fill in your sheet. If you're at home, you can follow it with active punctuation, your commas, full stops, apostrophe, exclamation mark, question mark, and inverted commas. Oh my goodness me, it's been such a long time since we've done that. I've lost which one's which. Anyway, I'm sure you'll get it right. Okay. Oh, capital letters as well, haven't we? I think all the capital letters are in there, but do have a little go. I'll read them through to the question, the sentences, and you can repeat them or pause the video and put in your active punctuation. Okay, so the first one, number one, is as they waited, they could hear a deep grumbling rumble. As they waited, they could hear a deep grumbling rumble. Well, I can see straight away there's as they waited. There's a little pause there. They could hear a deep grumbling rumble. Okay, so you carry on with that and pause the video and see if you can get all of those bits of punctuation in there with your active punctuation. Okay, and the Minotaur's challenge there is to include something in your plan today. Ooh, that is a challenge. Okay. Okie doke. So we'll move on and we'll have a look at the spelling starter for the call, and spot the names in here that have capital letters, and you can also write them down. You can pause the video and write them down with the correct punctuation in and the correct capital letters. So for call, we're looking for full stops at the end of a sentence, starting with a capital letter, and starting with names with a capital letter because they're proper nouns. Okay, so the first one is the Minotaur was a horrid beast. So you should have a capital T, capital M for the, because it's the first word, and Minotaur because it's the name that we give to that beast, and it gets a full stop at the end. Next one is Ariadne gave magical string to Theseus. There's two names in there, and you need to see if you can write that one down. Okay, we're ready to move on. Now this is your story plan today. You'll have a copy of this, or you can make your own. All it is just it's a piece of A4 paper with some lines on it, and you can make your own strip. It doesn't have to be printed out, just so long as it's nice and wide. Here's the one that I've done. Here's one I've made earlier, and you cut it across the middle, and if you look, there's little scissor marks to tell you where to cut it, and you can cut around the outside of the box. Don't cut the little glue flap off. You glue that, the back of that, the glue, you do the glue, it says glue together here, and you stick the other piece on that section so that you cover up the bit where it says glue together here. Okay, why make a plan? Have a little think about that and pause the video. Why do we bother making a plan? Why don't we just write it? Okay, you should have, this is quite a complicated letter, so you should have that idea that if you make a plan, then it helps you to remember everything. It helps you to increase the amount of really good structure to your story. It helps you to remember to use paragraphs, to put in those lovely bits of speech, maybe some time conjunctions. It helps you to remember to write down the really good spellings. What else does it do? It gives you you can jot down on there and put anything you like on there, remembering how to spell the names properly, or reminding you where things are and the order, the sequence. So there's lots of really good reasons for making a plan. So when you create a long plan today, okay, you're going to carefully cut it in half, glue the sections, stick the end of it together, and you're going to press it down together. Okay, then you've got this handy to make your story mountain, and it works in exactly the same way as the other one. We have the opening, we get to the problem in the middle, and the ending, which also has a problem. And we don't have a happily ever after ending with this one. Oh no, we've got a proper tragedy going on. Greek myths have got full of tragedies. So I'm going to show you this one. I've actually taken a photograph of it. It's not come out brilliantly, but it's just a really nice example of a long plan. Okay, so if we have a look at this as well, we're going to build up that excitement part of it, which is when he's worried about going into the labyrinth and meeting the Minotaur for the first time. He doesn't know whether he's going to live or die. He gets help from this woman who wants to marry him. Lots of pressure on him there, and he is worried about being killed. He's worried about his father. He's can't see a way out, and his problems come onto him. Okay, and we know that there's a brilliant resolution in this because we have the magical string at the end. So he helps him get out of the labyrinth. He then escapes and goes to the island of Naxos on the way home, and he has his other problem, which is he doesn't love Ariadne, so he sneaks off. And so there's an extra part to the story, really. It's an extra part to the plan, because there's a couple of little ideas going all the way along, because while they're travelling away, she then, meanwhile, love that, she then gets angry and calls down this god who then makes them forget to change the sails over. That's the massive tragedy at the end. Those sails don't get changed over, and his father looks out, sees the wrong colour sail for the fact that he thinks he's dead, and he throws himself off a cliff. Tragic ending. And terrible for Theseus, who couldn't tell his father how brave he'd been, and how all the Athenians, no other Athenian would have to die at the hands of the awful King Minos and his Minotaur ever again. So you've got some really exciting story going on there. You can write in your details of your settings in here, okay? You can write your time conjunctions, and I've used one where you've got the same, that's whilst something's happening, something else is happening in the story. So meanwhile is a really good one to use. And it's also a really good time here today when you're doing your planning to use your phonics, sound out, then use a try it sheet. That's a great idea. You've got scrap paper, jot it down, doesn't look right, have another go. What other strategy can I use? Can I think of the other common ways that those sounds are spelt, if they're digraphs or trigraphs? Have a think about those, because you should be able to spot those. If you're doing lots of reading, you'll see them in your books. That's the whole idea. As well as reading and being interested, it is helping you spell, okay? So have a look at those, and now's the time to get them right. You can use a dictionary as well if you want to. So here's one I made earlier. So this is just this taken in photos, because I'm at home, it's really difficult, can't put it under the visualizer or anything. So I've taken separate photographs of it, and because it was in pencil, it hasn't come out brilliantly, but I hope you can get the idea of it. So this is the start. So it's got years ago, which is a nice time conjunction to start with it. In Athens, King Aegeus, and I've done a little picture of an envelope there because it's got the letter. He's received a letter. Brave son volunteered to fight the Minotaur, send 7 men and 7 women. Do you remember that bit? And they get sent to Crete, and Theseus goes with them. And then I've put here white sails needed. So when I come to write that bit, I can write King Aegeus told him to put white sails up when he returned home so that he knew he was safe. Another time conjunction, I've underlined the time conjunctions. I put a little arrow on them to remind me to use it. So when they reached Crete, King Minos put them in the dungeon. Okay, so the next, I think this should say next morning. I'm going to put up the next... next morning, We've got Ariadne, and I've put a love heart there with Theseus. Promise to marry me, says Ariadne, and he's only just met her. She's quite pushy, but she's got magical string, so you always need to keep your options open there, don't you? If you think you're going to die and something else is going to help you, maybe you would become good friends. Okay, so he's got this threat of this evil Minotaur, and I've put like angry lines coming out of the Minotaur there to remind me to describe that Minotaur. And perhaps how awful he's thinking, how awful he's feeling, that he's probably going to go to his doom. So now we're in the labyrinth. He goes down, scared as, very confused, very harrowing to think that he might not come out. And he's tied the string on, and the string has run away from him and led him to the Minotaur. And there's the cave with the blood and the mess and the fight to the death. And he eventually finds his way out with the string, and I've done a little wee, eventually, nice time conjunction, and he's free. Okay, so he jumps on into his ship with Ariadne, and they escaped Crete, and on their way home, after a long voyage, they went to the island of Naxos, and it's very tranquil, very peaceful and beautiful, and they slept, and this is where it sort of becomes a bit confusing because I had to switch line. So here we go, we're on Naxos. Ariadne went to sleep. Meanwhile, Theseus quickly slipped away into his ship. She later wakes up and is stunned that he's left her, and shouts to the god, which is the god Dionysus, get revenge for me, I hate him, he's terrible, and Dionysus puts a spell on, which makes the sailors forget to change the sails. And finally, after they get home, or finally after a long voyage, they reach Athens. King Aegeus looks back at the black sails and sees that they're the wrong colour, and his son is dead, so he jumps off the cliff and dies. And Theseus comes into home, wants to go and tell his father that he's done an amazing thing, and he's brave, and he's saved Athens, and no more Athenians will have to die. And he finds that his father has died. So that's how you do a long strip, okay, for the plan. Now there's a smaller one here for a call. If you find that's going to be too much today, then there is an option of doing a comic strip plan with drawings in the rows. Okay, so each one of these sections has a little square above it, or quite a big square actually, to do a picture, and then you can add some more details. The first line has got an outline of the comic, okay, or the events, and some of the places and some of the characters, and then the second line I want you to add details to. If you just do the pictures, then you're just using somebody else's plan. You've got to make it your own. You might want to say she screamed out for the god, or they sailed home, he couldn't wait to be out of there. Lots more details, okay. But also, if you're not and you get stuck at the order of this, go back to your sequencing pictures that you did yesterday and use those, or you can have a little read of this. It's very short. I haven't made it it's not very long, it's just in little note form, okay. So you're going to use your story mountains today, and you're going to get on with your plan. You can add full notes. You don't add notes, don't do full sentences. Get those spellings right, have a go. And you can add little simple drawings. So don't expect it to be a beautiful work of art. It's not about that, it's about being able to use it tomorrow for your writing. We want some details of the setting, especially that doom and gloomy labyrinth. That would be amazing. Some brilliant time conjunctions, and then you can check your spellings. You want to try it with a try it sheet. I've got partner there. That's if you're in class, that should have been changed, or if you want to, you can look them up or ask an adult. And finally, once you've finished that, you can retell your story aloud using your plan, see if it works, find some spellings and correct them. This is the day to get them right. And then check, is there a part of it that is really detailed but not that important? Then you can reduce the amount that you write when you're writing your story. or you can go through and cross bits out of it today. It's not a problem. If you think that it's, you know, there's too much at the beginning and not enough of the exciting bit, then you can, you know, change that. But if there is a part that is not detailed enough, you think that's the best bit, and you've just got, he goes into the labyrinth and he kills the Minotaur. Oh, all that build up, and you don't know how he's done it. You don't know if they were fighting, whether they were by the neck, whether they, you know, like using their fists, whether they were using weapons. Could you hear? What could you see? What could you smell? Okay, so those are the bit. That's the section to really work on and add loads of details for your reader. Because don't forget, it's for your reader. Okay, they want to read those best bits, the juicy bits. Okay, and there's the old Minotaur at the end. I feel a bit sorry for him, actually. No, I don't know. He's nasty. Look at his nasty big slicing axe. Oh, dearie me. Those poor Athenians going in there. So that's good. Do your really best work today, and then we'll be ready to write it probably might even be our last legend or myth writing. I'm trying to get something written, trying to get something exciting for you to do next week, and having a think about something quite good. I think you'll like it. Okay, but let's get this one under our belt, and that would be super. Okay, do your best. Okay, bye for now.